Chaos isn't a pit. Chaos is a ladder.
Chaos isn't a pit, chaos is a ladder. That one line, smooth, deliberate, dangerous, captures the very essence of Petyr Baelish, better known as Littlefinger. A man born with nothing who reached for everything. But here's the real question. How does a minor lord from a rocky strip of land no one cares about rise to become one of the most dangerous men in Westeros? Without ever commanding an army, wielding a sword in battle, or sitting on the Iron Throne? This is the story of a man who didn't just play the Game of Thrones, he rewrote the rules. A master of whispers, deals, and manipulation, Littlefinger thrived in the shadows, pulling strings while great lords and queens danced to his tune. His rise is a lesson in ambition, and a warning about what happens when cunning goes unchecked. In the HBO series Game of Thrones, brought to life by Aidan Gillen's magnetic performance, Littlefinger becomes one of the most fascinating antagonists. But in George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire novels, his schemes run even deeper, with subtle differences that change how we see him. Today we're diving deep into Petyr Baelish, his origins, his masterful manipulations, the themes that define him, and the lasting mark he left on the Seven Kingdoms. Petyr Baelish was not born into power. He came from the Fingers, a desolate, windswept region on the east coast of Westeros. His family was a very minor nobility, lords in name only, with barely enough land to support their title. In the feudal hierarchy of Westeros, the Baelishes were at the bottom rung. But young Petyr's life took a turn when he was fostered at Riverrun, the seat of House Tully, thanks to his father's friendship with Lord Hoster Tully during the War of the Ninepenny Kings. There, Petyr grew up alongside the Tully children, Catelyn, Lysa, and Edmure. And it's here that the seeds of his ambition and bitterness were sown. Petyr fell hopelessly in love with Catelyn Tully, the future Lady Stark. When she was promised to Brandon Stark, Petyr challenged him to a duel for her hand. It was bold and foolish. Brandon nearly killed him, leaving him with scars, physical and emotional, that would never fade. This rejection shaped Petyr profoundly. In his own words, he learned that when you don't have the sword, you have to use the mind. He didn't have the birthright, the armies, or the name. But he had wit, charm, and a talent for understanding what people really wanted. And like Machiavelli's ideal prince, Littlefinger believed it was better to be feared than loved, but best of all, to be underestimated. The nickname Littlefinger itself came from his small stature in youth and his origin in the Fingers, a reminder of both his humble roots and the way others once looked down on him. That condescension would become fuel for his climb. In history, figures like Thomas Cromwell in England's Tudor court or the Byzantine court, eunuchs rose from obscurity to immense influence through sheer cunning. Petyr Baelish fits that mold perfectly, the outsider who uses the inside game better than the insiders themselves. Let's break down Littlefinger's role, season by season, and how his influence spreads like a spider's web. Season 1, The Quiet Power Broker. Petyr begins as Master of Coin on Robert Baratheon's small council, a position he uses to enrich himself and entangle the realm in debt. To most, he's the charming keeper of brothels, a man of vice rather than virtue. But when Ned Stark arrives in King's Landing, Littlefinger plays the friendly guide and the snake. He offers Ned help in uncovering Jon Arryn's death, even introducing him to the Gold Cloaks. Yet when the coup against the Lannisters comes, Petyr turns on Ned, holding a dagger to his throat. "I did warn you not to trust me." In the books, this betrayal is even colder. showing just how far he'll go to protect his position. Season 2, The Opportunist. While war engulfs Westeros, Littlefinger positions himself as a neutral facilitator, negotiating between Renly, Catelyn, and the Lannisters. His reward? He's named Lord of Harrenhal and gains the Vale's allegiance by marrying Lysa Arryn. This is classic Baelish, turning chaos into personal advantage. The man isn't a warrior, but every battle shifts the board in his favor. Season 3, The Climb. Here, Littlefinger's ambition crystallizes. He manipulates Sansa Stark, offers her escape from King's Landing, and delivers the most iconic monologue of his arc, revealing his philosophy. Chaos isn't something to fear, but to exploit. He also engineers the downfall of the Tyrells' marriage plans for Sansa, using her as a pawn while positioning himself to control her claim to the north. Season 4, The Kingmaker. In one of his boldest moves, Littlefinger eliminates Lysa Arryn, pushing her through the Moon Door and claiming it was to protect Sansa. This act secures him control over the Vale as Lord Protector of young Robin Arryn. It's also revealed that Littlefinger was the one who set the entire series of events in motion, convincing Lysa to poison Jon Arryn and send Catelyn the false letter blaming the Lannisters. Without him, there would be no War of the Five Kings. Season 5 to 6, Overreaching Ambition. Baelish's schemes grow riskier. He offers Sansa in marriage to Ramsay Bolton, a decision that backfires horribly. In the books, this storyline diverges, with Sansa staying in the Vale and Jane Poole taking her place. Still in the show, this misstep marks the beginning of cracks in his game. Season 7. The Fall. Littlefinger underestimates Sansa and Arya Stark. Thinking he can pit the sisters against each other, he tries to manipulate Sansa into executing Arya. Instead, they turn the tables. His trial is swift, his schemes laid bare. Arya's blade ends the man who once seemed untouchable. In the books, his end hasn't come yet, and many fans expect a far more intricate downfall. Character analysis. Littlefinger's strengths, his intellect, adaptability, and understanding of human desire make him a master manipulator, but his flaws, arrogance, underestimating others, and lingering attachments to Catelyn and Sansa ultimately undo him. Aidan Gillen's portrayal adds layers: the slow, deliberate speech, the sly half-smile, the way he leans in when speaking secrets. It's theatrical and serpentine, perfect for a man who survives by making others feel like they're in on the plan. Chaos as a ladder. Littlefinger thrives when order collapses. Every war, every death, every feud creates a vacuum, and he steps into it. This philosophy makes him one of the purest embodiments of the game itself. Social climbing. His life is a rags-to-riches story twisted into something darker. He's proof that in Westeros, birth matters less than the ability to bend others to your will, but also that climbing too high makes the fall deadlier. Corruption of power. Littlefinger begins as a clever underdog, but becomes consumed by his ambition. His early manipulations may seem almost playful, but as he gains influence, his willingness to destroy lives grows. Fan theories and divergences. In the books, some believe Littlefinger intends to marry Sansa to Harry the Heir and eventually take the North and Vale together, a move not explored in the show. Others think he hopes to eventually claim the Iron Throne itself, ruling through puppets. Petyr Baelish is arguably the catalyst for the entire Game of Thrones saga. Without his initial deception, framing the Lannisters for Jon Arryn's death, there's no war, no downfall of House Stark, no rise of the Lannisters. To fans, he's both fascinating and infuriating. Some admire his genius, others see him as the ultimate villain. Not because he wanted the throne, but because he didn't care how many had to die for him to climb. In the cultural sense, Littlefinger has become shorthand for the archetype of the scheming courtier, the man who trades in whispers instead of swords. His "chaos is a ladder" speech is quoted far beyond the fandom, used in politics, media, and even business commentary. Petyr Baelish began as the smallest player on the board. He rose higher than anyone thought possible, toppling kings and shaping the fate of kingdoms with nothing but words and well-timed betrayals. But in the end, the ladder he climbed had no rungs left, and the fall was swift. Every man is the architect of his own fortune, the saying goes. For Littlefinger, that fortune was built on secrets, lies, and ambition. And like all architects who build too close to the sun, he eventually burned. What do you think? Was Littlefinger the smartest player in the game, or just the most reckless? Let me know in the comments. And for more deep dives into the characters of Westeros, hit subscribe, because in the Game of Thrones, you either win or you watch another one of my videos.